Hello everybody! Today I am going to assemble the new Warhammer Battlezone objective set. It's not the most complex kit. I'm sure it's going to be, if the previous ones are anything to judge by, only like 5 or 10 pieces. As per requested by a few people, I've got a little background music going. Let me know if it's too loud, too quiet, or just you don't like it. I can try something else. I thought that I would discuss how I feel about new objectives in the game while I build this. And I'm already pretty excited at some of these different things. I like this Necron, looks like might have been caught. We've got 2, looks like some sort of Necron. I don't even know what, but let's get this thing open. All right. My usual barbaric way, I'm just going to rip it open. Oh, hey now. This is... excuse me. Oh, gotta drink a little water. This is a bit of a surprise. These are 50mm bases. And I don't have my book with me, but I thought that the tournament book stated that objectives were 40mm. I'm going to build this as is, just because why not? Get these instructions up out of the way. Yeah, it's very simple, but I'm really happy to see the most complex piece is this. I'm really looking forward to this chair. All right, let me get started here. It's great. The chair is the first thing. Really simple. This is a bit of a darker, honestly, a little more durable plastic. It feels tougher. But I'll be using some Citadel glue. Got my trusty tools. Sorry, it's been too long. Life is busy for everyone, or at least stressful. So let's have a stress-free build. Set that to the side. Here we go. So one of the reasons I'm looking forward to getting this chair, almost palanquin done, is characters on palanquins was a thing back in the day up until, well, I guess the Codex in 8th edition came out and they went to Legends. Palanquin, if you are unfamiliar with the term, is a chair of some sort held up by a bunch of chumps. And the most common is nerdlings. Epidemus, for example, is on a palanquin where Horticlux Slimux is on a snail. So far, these are not too bad to build. But I've heard some rumors about this. I kind of want to say it's terrain plastic. It's definitely a little more brittle when I'm kind of taking little chunks. I don't know, it's really hard to explain the feeling of plastic. All right. But all these things are legends, so I can't really have a... Oh, it's been too long since I opened this thing. I gotta clean it. Like a Chaos Sorcerer on Palanquin or a Herald of Nurgle on Palanquin. But what about a Nurgling on Palanquin counting as a standard Herald of Nurgle? There we go. You know what? I'm gonna take that advice someone gave me early on. Flip it upside down. Also, I'm no longer building on paper. You can probably see a few smudges already. I went out and I bought a new hobby mat. I used to have a green one. It was terrible. I trimmed this one to fit my desk. And then I was testing it out, trying a new accelerant for my super glue. And I spilled it. It was pretty much pure acetone. And it eats out the paint that makes the lines. So midway through this, I might look at converting it. But as for the original topic, is objectives in 9th edition. And the first thing that came to mind when I decided to build this today is that these have height. They have a z-axis. A y, depending on which you're familiar with. But the bottom line being is, if this is the objective, a lot of people play with tokens. You can stand on them. But we put this down there, suddenly you can't stand on it so easily. You can just get close to it. And that made me start thinking that in the past, all the objectives have been pretty much a narrative thing. If you care enough, you could come up with an explanation for what said objective is. You know, if it's an eternal war, you could have to hold a position at the end of the battle or until the end of the battle for reinforcements. If it's Maelstrom, you could, who knows what, be discovering relics and artifacts to save. It has no bottom. So this thing won't be flipping. In 9th edition, though, we have secondaries that effectively give us all those narratives. Teleporters, raising flags, burning objectives, tons of these cool actions that, whether we like it or not, add a narrative element to tournament games. Now you can easily build around this, which kind of, you could argue, man, these are hard to clip. Just kind of didn't give me that snap. You could argue that because you can build for it, it's not narrative, but you could also argue that if you are building for a narrative, whatever you build is that narrative. And not to get too far away from objectives, but that is the most difficult thing about running a narrative event, is a tank commander and his Baneblade buddies could be someone's narrative. And someone else's narrative could be 300,000 nerdlings just running around, which is actually a tournament list. So, did I just clip too much? Find out after these messages, I guess. Excuse me. So, do you think objectives should be flat on the ground or on the board so that you can park, say, a Land Raider on them? Or something that was always popular in earlier editions was to drop a drop pod right on that objective and deploy the fins down to where you had to kill the drop pod. And in, I'm going to say 7th and previous, if you didn't explode that drop pod, it stayed on the objective. Now, it didn't claim it because it exploded or was a wreck, but it still sat there and caused issues. This is one of those discussions that I try to talk to my opponent about, I have, say, these guys. I think I've shown them off before. Warhammer Citadel collectible objective markers. I think you can get them at Warhammer World still, and sometimes at the Citadel. Or you can spend way too much money on eBay. But they're pretty much poker chips. I already clog again. But luckily they are 40 millimeter, so they are tournament sized. Maybe I did. Whoa, jeez. And with those, I just assume, my models can walk onto that objective. It's not so much a physical object we're capturing, but a location of importance. I'm gonna pause for a second. I can get my nerdlings. Got my nerdlings. So if you're just securing a location, bam, stand right on it. Boom. This is my Chaos Lord for a second crusade I'm running. And that's a Rune Priest, or Wolf Priest I'm running for a different crusade. But, if it's an actual object you want to keep, you might have to go up and you can't get on it. Well, in this case you can. But then it stops to just be an objective. It also acts as a terrain piece. And if you had these tall, potentially line of sight blocking objectives, would you give them a terrain attribute? Now this chair, for example, that I will certainly not be using as an objective, not because it's tall or I don't like how it looks, but I think I only actually have 3 Heralds of Nurgle, which I guess is just fine, but one of them is really old and 3D printed, and I lost the file for it, so I can't reprint it. Unless I can re-download it from Shapeways. Anywho, I want to make a new one. And if all goes according to plan, look at that nice little comfy chair. This will be the new one. Whoops. All right. Oh, dang it. There's a piece of slag right there. Little extra bit I didn't clip off. As for the back to the plastic, it is a little harder to work with, but not much. Not like, don't buy this kit because the plastic's terrible. Just, it's not as smooth or as easy to work with. It's okay. Oh, worst thing about this is it waddles back and forth and I hear it. I tried to make a flat spot for it, but it didn't work out. All right. Just a little bit in that, up and down there. And then I know last video I mentioned I would be converting a character from my Horus Heresy RPG character. And I got everything in the mail for it, but I haven't started it at all. Actually, this body for my Chaos Terminator Lord is the Night Lord's something or another Chaos Terminator that I turned into a Death Guard Terminator Lord because I wanted his axe, nothing else. And I need more, just plain old Death Guard Terminator Lords. Alright, and boom. This chair might be too tiny. With objectives in this edition, I do think that the new, really ITC style of objectives, Kill More, Cap More, Titan Slayer, those are a few of the ones that I can remember from the few times I played ITC. But they fully exist in 40K now, and I believe that the ITC crew helped playtest this. Oh, a cat hair everywhere already? There's not even a cat in here. So those are things I'm really happy with. This Nurgling's fat booty, I'm not too happy with. He is too chunky for the chair. Maybe... it would have just been great to have the Sorcerer in there. I could cut off the arms. I don't know. I think I'll finish building this and dig around a bit more. What if I had a Nurgling without legs in there? Lieutenant Dan style Nurgling. There's some tiny Nurglings around here. Here we go, one from the Plague Bear. It's tough. Because I don't want to use just like some chump Nurgling that's hanging out with a Plague Bearer for a Herald. I want to use like Buddy Nurglings or Tallyman Nurgling. What are the named Nurglings? Mortarian Nurgling. Let's get all these guys back in there. Oh, skulls everywhere. I go and I buy like 100 resin skulls, and then a couple weeks later, Games Workshop comes out with their plastic skull kit. Oh. Okay. So we'll just keep assembling this as per the instructions. And so far the plastic glue is holding very well. It's not a kit that you have to move around much, but the other, I guess, feedback on this more dense terrain style plastic was that the plastic glue doesn't bind with it. So they have changed or are using a different plastic. So that is good news. Don't fret about this kit. Let's see how tall this is once it's built. It's another thing I like about 9th edition, is they have defined everything so well. They're leaving as little as possible up to interpretation. If you want line of sight blocking terrain, it either has to A, completely block line of sight, can't see me, or B, be 5 inches tall. If anything's 5 inches tall, you can just say, hey, you can't see through this. Oh, you know, if I put a Nurgling on this, I could draw like a little Nurgle symbol here and a little dick butt right there. I know it's a really old, dumb meme, but it cracks me up. Always has, probably always will. Come on, do stuff. Howdy, plastic glue. Huh. So under this, there's some lines, and I don't know if they are for any specific reason, or just the off chance that you might peek under that desk's skirt. They would have some wires under this. So if a Nurgling can't fit in this chair, whoa. Ooh, still a little. What in the heck is going to fit in this chair? I always figured Nurglings were like cat-sized or human child-sized. I guess the 40k default is we're going to put a skeleton in it, stop asking questions. Oh. If it's under and over, so you kind of have to bring it up. Well, that's pretty cool. Oh, wait, I got an idea. Maybe I will chop off those. Because I've got Commissar Nurgling. That's not a Commissar, that's 3 Nurglings in a trench coat. And then I could get one of those big, tall Sisters of Battle nun hats. Put them in here. Have like 2 Nurglings in a robe with a hospitalier hat or something running around. So, yeah, this thing's obscuring. Would you call this terrain? If you had, say, a swarm or even a Terminator, I know it's kind of hard to see behind, but that should give a cover save. Would a tank have to go around this? I mean, there's so many little things about this. Well, that guy's got to jump back, that wouldn't work. If this guy wants to charge him, he's going to have to go a little bit further. He can't just go through. And these are things I hadn't really thought about in the past until I grabbed this set of terrain. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so difficult to build. This is the Fan 5. Oh hey, I've got those upside down plugs. So this looks like a Mechanicus reactor thingamajigger. Whatchamacallit? Toaster. It's all toasters, isn't it? Real simple, real easy. Here we go. Yeah, these are definitely harder to get off. And it could be my blade, but I doubt it. This thing is crazy sharp, and I just use it to assemble some, convert this dude. And it doesn't look like too much, but this sword is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And they're all plastic, and they all need very little tiny whittles, which this guy does great. Oh yeah, it's like I feel it right here, but I got crappy wrists. Someone, and I actually could probably pull it up, commented on the state of my fingers, which, let's see, Nathan Geraldry. Thank you for complimenting my voice, and on the subject of my fingernails, I do use them a lot. And after I posted my first video, my parents who subscribed to me forever saw it and said, "Joe, you gotta fix your fingernails." And I said, okay, and then proceeded to not do anything. I went and got a mani-pedi with my wife once, and I don't even want to think about it. It looked pretty, but everything hurt so much, and the tips of my toes were sore. Anywho, moment of triumph. Actually, this thing looks like it's pretty fun to paint. You know, it doesn't have too much detail, but it's kind of got this almost 50s style trim, weird multi-dial thing. The electrodes, it's definitely got a theme, and it still has some 40K with these power packs, battery packs. You can see one's missing, which is really cool. This style of battery pack is used on, I want to say, the Deathcore las cannon heavy weapon teams. I'm not sure about Games Workshop ones. I think it is, as well as on Sentinels. So it's nice because it looks a little alien. A little Martian. But it's also got some obvious 40K aesthetic going to it. And it wouldn't be 40K if it didn't have spikes. I mean, honestly, the lack of skulls is offensive. What the hell is this? Is there even a skull in this whole kit? This blatant line of sight blocking terrain. You can hide an Nurgling in a trench coat behind that real easy. I think my next game I might try this. Of course, if any of you listening are like me, you're probably playing 40K Age of Sigmar in Tabletop Simulator, so you don't really get an option. I guess actually you get infinite options on objectives. You could take Bodhi from Thingiverse and import it as an objective and have a little tugboat. Or you just, go with the standard little tokens they provide. I guess that guy's got to wait until the end. So the next two objectives are really, really basic. It's just two-piece. Actually, the last one I did, this one and the next one, are all just two-piece objectives. The last one is that Necron. And honestly, that and the chair are the most exciting. This is pretty cool, though. I got 2 monitors. This guy's got 6. A Frankenstein switch. Heck yeah. Those things are awesome. They're kind of throwback to old school in the future. On the other side, we've got all little ports for the back of the monitors. Nothing super exciting, but for this one, you'll get the objective. Watch 6 of your favorite TV shows as your action. And, I don't know, you get a command, or you get an objective point for that. Or I guess it could be 5. But this is easily another line of sight blocking objective. Crazy stuff has happened, I think, since the last video. I can't remember. Every day feels like it's 3 days, and every week feels like a month. But we're gonna get through this together. We're gonna keep building. We're gonna be positive, and soon Space Marines will have 2 wounds each. Deal with it, Xenos. Boom. Yeah, this guy right here, he's gonna have 2 wounds. The same amount of wounds as this big dude. Scale creep is real. So that'll be really exciting. I'm looking at my shelf. I'm glad I don't play Xenos. I play Chaos and Space Wolves. I actually just sold my Age of Sigmar Maggotkin army and my 40K Night Titans Chaos Knights because I just, wasn't really feeling them. Of all the online games I've played, I haven't used either of them once. And I haven't painted them at all. I just kept the minis I love. So, going back to these being tall, you obviously can't land on them with like a rhino. And most of them will just be obstacle terrain. Maybe light cover obstacles with obscuring, and that's it. But placement of them, because we can control these, there's a big tactical element to that. If you play with these objectives in a tournament environment where you have to follow the rules strictly and you are out to win no matter what, this would be a huge advantage if you had no vehicles or a fly-heavy army, because you could block off. What is that? That's kind of cool. Little inset there. Block off paths for non-flying transports and for big, cumbersome units. Custodians would love these. My first game in Tabletop Simulator, I played with Rhino Rush Death Guard and a very dense board. It was still 8th edition rules, I think. No, I think it was 9th. Leaked to 9th or something. But because the density of the terrain... no, it was 8th. All the terrain was what would now be called obstacles. It was just buildings that rhinos couldn't get through. And I basically got stuck behind my own rhinos, my whole force. There were only 2 spots to fit. That's what it was. It was 8th edition with the new table size, which I gotta say, playing primarily close combat armies, actually, entirely close combat armies. I've got a Reaver with 2 power fists. I like close combat that much. I love the smaller table size. That's kind of nice. Circle, square pegs, or holes for the pegs. About half my coworkers couldn't figure this part out though, so they might need to simplify it. Then again, I guess that's the reason they don't play tabletop games. Oh, I didn't notice the scarabs. They're adorable. I love the new scarabs. They're so cute. And doesn't the Silent King have these things around him? Getting more lore pieces for Xenos. That's not right. That's not the right word. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Non-unit models like this is cool. This faction-specific objectives is super cool. And I guess what we have is supposed to be, Imperium. Oh, wait, there's the skulls. That's right, you give me those skulls. But I think at the end of the day, we've got a Mechanicus against Necron. That was 3 pieces. Objective set, which, that was a box set. I just can't remember which one. All right. And I'm still, most noticeably, it's tougher. It's solid. It doesn't bend. These things don't have as much give. I'm not going to intentionally break one right now just because I want to keep it looking well. The crispness of the details a little less, most likely because of the stronger terrain. Plastic. I just got done working out, so my brain is mush. But I really wanted to do another build video. Tomorrow I'm going to wash and clean all the Forge World stuff to make my new character. Life's been crazy enough to where I haven't played in like 3 weeks. Our DM has just been swamped. He has a little startup business and it's been getting hit hard. But it's like a staff of light, isn't it? What is... That is cool. We've got the scarabs going around. We've got some holes in it. Some exposed tech on the inside. A little bit of battle damage. A whole bunch of exposed stuff. That is great. Somewhere out there was a cross-section of a Terminator, and it was amazing art. Just awesome art. You know what? I'm going to start gluing these to the base. And growing up, I used to always get these cross-section books. I can't remember what they were called, but it was like, here's a spaceship. Here it is cut in half. Here's all the different layers. And it was so awesome. And I want that so badly for 40K, 30K, even Age of Sigmar. Show me what's inside the Caradron's helmet. I guess the only one that'd be boring would be like Thousand Suns, because it's just a dust bag inside. You gotta think that, well, honestly, if the Rubric Marines are Rubric Marines, they're just dust, like animated dust. I gotta read up on that lore, because I don't know how their comms work, or if it's all just straight magic. What? Okay. So I got this piece here. And I'm going to go back and check because it doesn't look like it's in the instructions for the very last part. What is that? 1K? Oh. Poof. Goes right there. Yeah. Wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't completely skip an obvious step, would it? I want to also apologize. I don't think I've responded to comments in a little while. You know, just life. I'm going to be better about it. Oh, that's better. That's much better. I think this won't glue too well, but it'll settle down, whoa, a little nicer. I mean, I didn't put too much glue on it, but it'll settle a bit nicer when I texture that base. All right, last. Saving the best for last. As for objectives, excuse me, what are your favorite secondary objectives? And least favorite? Personally, I haven't done much with actions, as a lot of my army is mobile or has a purpose, like just everything rush forward, kill it all. That's Space Wolves at least. With Death Guard, I've got Poxwalkers and Cultists to sit back and perform actions on objectives. I haven't tried it yet. I've been playing a lot of smaller games. And I feel like in smaller games, you just don't have the units for a secondary objective where you have to do an action, such as the Crusade mission, the Ritual, where your Warlord has to perform an action inside of a 60 millimeter ritual zone. You know, while your Warlord's doing that, their auras don't count, nothing counts for them. And my Warlord is a Space Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf, so he's getting the heck out of there. And with demons, you know, you've got cheap troops everywhere. Heck yeah, go ham on it. In my opinion, the absolute worst secondary at this moment is the one where you get 1 point for every 10 models you kill at the end of the game. And the reason I think that is the absolute worst one right now is that if your opponent has 100 minis and you table them, you just get 10 points for it. Only. If someone's bringing 100 of something, it's probably durable. No one wants to move 100 Termagants right now. And frankly, it's probably a bad idea. 100 Plague Bearers, probably going to exist. But still, you get 10 points. All of them cap out at, I want to say 15. So you need to fight and kill 150 individual models. As new codex come out, we could see a huge change in that. Take Chaos Demons, for example. In 5th edition, and I think it was 5th, they were small elite army. 7 Plague Bearers was crazy durable. They had Feel No Pain 4-up, which is disgustingly resilient on a 4. They were fearless, I think. And T5, pop 7 of them on the field, you're good. And then as each edition comes out, demons become more and more horde-centric. So we could see in the demon book, plague bearers, bloodletters, demonettes, and pink horrors become even cheaper and even less reliable on the tables. They could go from T4 to T3. You know, I've seen some people suggest that instead of disgustingly resilient, give them -1 to wound, which is insanely powerful. But people suggest it to speed up games, and I gotta admit, it probably would. Oh hey, I totally put glue on the back there and there didn't need to be. So off that, I was curious what this was on first glance. Looking closely, we've got the battery packs and the cogs. It's definitely not Xenos. This is a captured Necron or a powered up one. And it's obviously Mechanicus who caught him because they chopped off his hands. A very obvious Mechanicus thing. They're going to chop off his robot hands and give him flesh hands, and chop off his robot legs and give him flesh legs. All right. So that is all 6 of the objectives. I know they don't really show that well. These are on 50mm bases. And that is it. These are big, chunky objectives, and I kind of like them. Next time I can get a masked game in person, maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't play either of these armies, so it might be a bit strange, but you get these... Oh, we've got 2 to 4. 4, obviously, Imperium, only 2 Xenos. So that's kind of standard for how much Games Workshop loves the Imperium. But no Space Marines. Anywho. Oh, and my favorite secondaries are probably Assassinate and Grind Them Down. Or Attrition. Attrition's just easy. And then Table Quarters. Assassinate is one I like because I frequently fight people with a bunch of characters who are support characters, like Space Marines. For like 4 lieutenants running around and 3 captains. I know that's going to be changed, but until then, I'm going to rack up those points. All right. All 5, 6 objectives. Commissar Nurgling. Thank you for watching as usual. Thank you all for subscribing and commenting. It helps. I like it. It keeps me sane. Next video, I might do a Greater Demon, or I've got some Caradron Overlord engine riggers that I need to build. So maybe I'll work on those. Maybe I'll try to 3D print a new flight stand for them. Whatever it is, I hope you all look forward to it. I look forward to doing it. You have a nice night.